Dilution occurs by the addition of a solvent to a solution. In many cases, the solvent is water. There are a couple of things to keep in mind when we talk about dilution. First, the number of moles of solute does not change. This is because we're only adding solvent. This causes a change in volume, which is generally measured in liters or milliliters. For example, hydrochloric acid is usually kept in laboratories as a concentrated stock solution of 12 molar. But most of our lab procedures require much less concentrated hydrochloric acid. The stock solution will be diluted, or we will add water so that the concentration is less than 12 molar. But how do we know how much of the stock solution to use? And how do we know how much water to add to the stock solution? To find that information, we will need to use the dilution formula. M1 and V1 are the molarity and volume of the initial concentrated solution. And M2 and V2 are the molarity and volume of the final diluted solution. This equation works because the molarity multiplied by the volume equals the number of moles of solute, and remember that the moles of solute do not change during a dilution. Now let's take a look at a couple of problems and calculations involving the dilution formula. Number 1. 123 milliliters of a 1.1 molar glucose solution is diluted to 515 milliliters. What is the molarity of the diluted solution? Before we can use the dilution formula, let's identify the variables. M1 and V1 are the initial concentrated solution. So in the problem, we have a 1.1 molar glucose solution, and we have a volume of 123 milliliters. M2 and V2 are the molarity and volume of the final diluted solution. We have diluted our initial concentrated solution to 515 milliliters. And the problem is asking us to calculate the molarity of this new solution. Since we have only one unknown, we can plug into the dilution formula and solve. To solve for M2, we multiply 1.1 times 123 and divide by 515. And we end up with the molarity of the diluted solution equal to 0.263 molar. Number 2. To what volume should you dilute 25 milliliters of a 6 molar sulfuric acid solution to obtain a 0.125 molar sulfuric acid solution? Let's identify the variables in the same way we did for number 1. We have the molarity of the concentrated solution, which is 6 molar, and we have the initial volume of 25 milliliters. We want to dilute this solution so that we end up with a new solution with a molarity of 0.125. This time, we don't know how much water that we need to add, so V2 is our unknown. Again, we can plug into the dilution formula and solve for V2. To solve for V2, we multiply 6 times 25 and then divide by 0.125, and we end up with volume equal to 1200 milliliters. This means to get a solution that is 0.125 molar, we would have to add enough water so that the volume is increased to 1200 milliliters.